throw in a quick review of this game. It was kind of anticipated on my part. I was looking forward to this game. Came out, didn't grab it immediately, gave it a little time to simmer. But I went on and picked it up. Price dropped down to what I felt like was a reasonable amount for it. And, well, here's what I think of it. Basically, this is your character. Nothing all too impressive about character creation. Nothing like Dark Souls or anything like that. It's just really, really basic.
Look, Zach, we are heading for the dome. It was built by the first settlers. A relic
You can
itself.
come up with a
And what's there for
relatively
us?
unique look for the
According
character,
to
but
reports, looters,
everything about the
our
game is so
looters,
dark.
do their best to
Like
keep
what
us
you see right now is would probably be considered a bright area under the circumstances. But character control is fairly okay as far as walking. Well, let me rephrase that. As far as running, you have to just barely nudge the joystick in order to get the character to walk. Otherwise, he breaks out into a sprint, and that might not always be what you want him to do. Along with that, as far as control is concerned, the fighting in a lot of the reviews that I read about the game prior to buying it, there's a lot of battling in this game. The fight sequences aren't bad. They aren't necessarily good. They definitely aren't like, say, for instance, Dark Souls or The Witcher. It's far cry from that. It just doesn't have quite the same feel of games that are more refined as far as that aspect of them. Other thing this game is kind of bad about is not making it very clear exactly what you're supposed to do, especially if you miss what a character says to you. You can't always get that character to repeat what they said. You can't go back and look at a journal or something to see what they said. You just really have to pay attention. And even then, if you pay attention, you're not necessarily going to
Zechariah,
get what's going
do you
on.
remember your first lesson?
On the scarcity of life?
Indeed, the very one. Kill a fellow unfortunate and, in this hell, only the more alone we will become. Disable the looters, but spare their lives.
There's another thing. Disable the looters, but spare their lives. In this game, you beat your enemies to the point where they fall, but they're not dead when they fall. So you don't actually kill them unless you drain something basically called serum from their body, and that, if you do that, then it kills them. But here's a thing I thought was kind of stupid. You sneak up on somebody, you do the little sneak attack, but it's barely, does any damage to them. It doesn't really do that much. Now, with this game, as with any other game where you have to lock on to your enemy like this, locking on tends to get you in trouble because it doesn't let your character move quite the way you expect them to sometimes. So you end up having to unlock because you're being attacked by far too many characters at one time to lock on to one and think you're going to be okay. While you're locked on to one, there's another one hitting you in the back of the head. It's just not cool. You're better off doing what I'm doing right now. Focus on one, turn the camera to keep your opponent in sight, and attack. As long as you're pushing in the direction of your opponent, it doesn't matter which way the camera is facing, you'll attack in the direction that you press. Now, an example of what I was talking about. Once you beat an opponent, they're down. You have triangle, you have X. X searches them, triangle drains them of serum. Draining them of serum kills them. Killing them takes points away from your karma. It's kind of a who cares situation, but you know, whatever. If this is what you want us to do in the purpose of playing the game, okay. Kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5 being called Grand Theft Auto 5, but not really being able to steal vehicles. I mean, you can steal them, but it's not something that it wants you to do. The game developers don't want you to steal cars in the game. I don't understand that. In this one, you aren't supposed to kill anybody unless they tell you to kill anybody. Then you don't know exactly who it is you're supposed to kill. It's stupid. So, like right now, the guy that was with me has basically just walked away. Don't know exactly where he went. You'll have to look at your map and then maybe you can see him. Or look around. There he is.
We encroach our destination. Take note that enemy forces lie in wait. There, the rocky outcrop. Scale it and report back your findings.
So this is a perfect example. He says there, whatever the outcrop, whatever it is, scale it and see what you can find or whatever. What the hell are you talking about? You don't point anywhere. You just say something. It's just stupid. You go up here. I'm not exactly scaling this. I'm just walking up the damn hill. Now you find yourself with one enemy. Yeah, lock on. Personally, I don't like locking on, so this gets you in way too much trouble. Now, you can go into stealth mode like this. Nothing all too great about it. Again, when you attack someone in stealth mode, it's just like pinching them on the back of the head. They still have plenty of energy to fight back with. Now, I'm not going to bore you into a very long review of this game. It doesn't take long to review this game at all. Everything I'm telling you right now, I've played deep, maybe 8 to 10 hours into the game, and not much is different from what's going on right now and what I'm saying right now. You're walking around a bunch of dark areas. You're fighting a bunch of characters. More often than not, more than you should be fighting at one time. Right now, there are just two people, myself and the other guy that I'm with. Later on, you add two people to your crew, or whatever you want to call it. It's you and two other individuals that you have to modify their weapons and modify their armor and set that character up in much the same way you have to set your own character up, with the exception of how they look. There's no driving in this game. It's not like Grand Theft Auto or anything like that. I haven't run into any vehicles that you can get into and actually move. If you have to go somewhere in a vehicle, it CGs you into the vehicle. You interact with characters while you're in it, talking, and then you end up wherever you were driving to, and you get out and you're right back to doing what you're doing right now, walking around, fighting 5, 6, 7 enemies at one time coming at you from different directions. Locking on to one, of course, will get you in more trouble because there's too many of them. So locking on to one gets you hit by all the others. Uh, in a lot of cases, you have an enemy that's standing back shooting into the crowd, so to speak, uh, shooting at you and probably doing a pretty good job of it because your attention is not focused on that enemy, it's focused on the one you're fighting. Um, but again, if you're thinking about getting this game, now it's yes if it's less than $15. If it's more than $15, don't waste your time. Wait and see if they give it away on PlayStation 4, PlayStation Plus free. It's definitely worth it if it's free. It's worth it if it's $10. It might even be worth it if it's 15, just because of the estimated length
There are
of
looters
gameplay.
gathered at the dome's
But
entrance. A lot of
other
them,
than
but
that,
they're not equipped to be more than a
no.
nuisance.
This one gets a thumbs
Take care
down from me.
nonetheless, Zechariah.
So
That guard
if you do
there,
grab it and check
separated
it
from
out,
his group.
yeah, I hope you like it better
Sneak
than
on
I
him
did.
and the battle will be easily won.
All right, guys. You know, if this helps, if this saves you some money or gives you some kind of insight into the game that you didn't already have, I hope it helps. Leave a like if you like. If not, that's okay too. I don't really go for that thing on here. I'm just trying to help. Talk to you guys later.